we have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. This is Old School, brought to you by Sandhills Global. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into Old School 93.7 The Ticket. We are one sleep away from Big Ten Media Days. And you can get your entire, I had to fix the camera. It was like not on DP at all. And you can get your entire fix of Big Ten Media Days right here on 93.7 The Ticket for the next 2 days, 3 days. We're counting today. We'll talk about a little bit what we're maybe expecting, maybe who these guys want to talk to, maybe get a couple questions that they might ask. I don't know. We'll find out. But Old School brought to you by Sandhills Global. Sandhills Global has hundreds of job opportunities and internships available. Their global headquarters here in Lincoln. Head to sandhills.jobs today and apply. That's sandhills.jobs. Hundreds of job opportunities available at their global headquarters here in Lincoln. Give us a call, 402-464-5685 on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, or text your questions, comments, concerns in to the Starter Heyman text line, same number, 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman also sponsors the live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. DP, Jay Foreman, gentlemen, how was your weekend?
It was good. How about yours?
It was good. Twitter.
Oh yeah! Wow! Yeah. That one rode hard. Yeah, I
was like, oh, well, you keep saying it.
Hello. Yeah. No, there's. I want to get into a couple of things before we get into the meat and potatoes. Our partners, the Lincoln Stars, are looking for billets, and those are the families where players live during the season. A couple of things for you if you want to know what this is. They're trying to provide safe and loving supportive homes. It's essential for enabling players to achieve their goals in hockey, but also members of the Lincoln community. Families who host players will house an individual who will help serve as a role model for the family's children and be an active member in the home. So this is an engagement situation. These families form a bond that lasts long after the players have moved on from Lincoln. And if recent history with the Stars is true, as they head into the NHL, being drafted and put into the system. So the Billet family provides a home for the player, meals, a place to do laundry, study, and relax, etc. It's a place to build deep connections with a player who in many cases is living away from home for the very first time. Players aged 16 to 20 need homes from September to mid-April or May, depending on the playoff run. Here are some questions that we can answer for you. Are Billet families paid? Yes, they're given a generous stipend each month to help offset expenses. Is there a typical family billet? Billet families may be two-parent families, single-parent families, and occasionally an empty nester. The common denominator is a desire to help by the family to make a difference in the player's life. Can a family billet more than one player? Yes. Two or more players can share transportation expenses. It also helps them with their costs. It often provides company for each other. The only requirement is that each player has an adequate space for living arrangements. Each player is expected to have his own bed, closet, or dresser, and acceptable access to a restroom. For more information, you can reach out to the Lincoln Stars. The information is on their website, but you can also reach Keith Burchett at kburchett@lincolnstars.com. That's K Burchett, Burchett at lincolnstars.com. Also, we want to shout out to the folks from Beatrice Bakery. We're going to hook up somebody in the second hour of this show with some goodies as well. We did pretty well last week. I'm satisfied with what we did. Lots going on there. Jay Foreman, we head to Big Ten Media Day, and I'm kind of intrigued by the lineup because Kevin Warren, I did it again as a buddy of mine. Kevin Warren will speak from 9:45 to 10 o'clock. Then Scott Frost, Loxley, Fleck, Ferentz, Fitzgerald, Harbaugh. Anybody not named Scott Frost or Kevin Warren that you kind of want to sit down and talk to? Enrico and I made a private bet on who we thought that would be out of that group.
I mean, nobody I would really want to talk to, but probably Harbaugh and Fleck, just because they're probably the two odd birds. Yeah.
Dang it!
I said having two linebackers sit there and talk it up.
Oh, is Fitzgerald there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then he's number one.
Yeah.
I didn't hear his name. Fitzgerald's number one. He supersedes both of them.
Right.
Because I don't think talking to Harbaugh would. I mean, I think after asking Harbaugh how his day is going, or is it sunny outside, you'll probably come away feeling like I just lost 5 minutes of my life. And then with PJ Fleck, which would probably be. I've talked to PJ before. Know people that know him. You know, obviously dealt with him as far as like my high school coach and stuff like that, and other coaches in the area of Minneapolis. So know a little bit more about him. But Fitzgerald probably be the most interesting, just because of I grew up watching him, and just respect to what he's been able to do.
We were going to ask the listeners to text in the questions.
That is not a question.
Well, but so let me say this. You can text in whatever you want. There's certain things that we cannot ask.
Yeah.
But we do want to hear them. Like, we do want to hear them.
That is a question that if somebody were to ask, I would be interested in the answer.
Well, no, we would be fired and kicked out of the building.
Not here.
Oh, just privately.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
Like if it was like a podcast, somebody else.
Yeah. There are things
like a used car shop that asked a question to a coach and he gave an answer about why his offensive coordinator was so bad.
Like I kind of want to ask Fleck, does he enjoy being the villain?
Well, I could tell you,
I wouldn't ask him that.
He doesn't. No. He doesn't. Why not?
No,
he would like. He
Big
would,
Ten. If we ever want to go back as a station, he
wouldn't do that. He would actually enjoy it because the way that he's going to spin it, he's like he doesn't think he's a villain. And what he's going to go, because what he does is he's gonna minimize what you're saying. He's going to attack it, minimize it. Mm-hmm. Then he's going to go into why he could be viewed as a villain, but then he's going to tell you everything that he's doing right with his program.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand what PJ Fleck does to the media and what he does to other people, and that's how he plays mind games with you.
But that's why I want those. That's why I want
you. Could ask him that because he's not offended by it because he's heard it before. But the Big Ten wouldn't care because they need PJ Fleck. Because if everybody's like Harbaugh or like buttoned up like Ryan Day, buttoned up kind of like Mel Tucker into most of the guys,
mm-hmm.
then you kind of just lose your like a little bit. PJ Fleck is just that dude.
It gets boring.
Right. Like Kurt Ferentz ain't going to give you nothing. He's going to get up there and look like, Robert De Niro and just, act like, remember the whole thing is like when they were clapping, he's like, what is this golf? I mean, he did that's about as much you're going to get with them, but it's only after a victory and after they have
mm-hmm.
something that they can kind of like, oh, I got over on you. Whereas PJ Fleck he's going to come in. He's going to have either maroon on or yellow. He's going to come in with his deal. I'm going to be interested.
He'll have the too tight suit.
Where
it's going to be too hard for me to look at him because he done got some work done on his face. I'm like, bro, I seen you 2 years ago. Okay.
Where is the oar or the boat on his outfit?
Lapel.
Or no, it's probably on his tie.
I'm sorry, are there oars on his tie?
Yeah.
Do you think he does one of those like draft day? He opens it up and there's boats on the inside of his suit jacket.
Yeah, like that. But that's part of the deal, right? And I'm also intrigued, right? Because we'll be able to ask his players about Coach Fleck.
I kind of want to ask him if there's a point where the boat turns into a speedboat. Like, is there a point in the progress of your, not culture, your team where it goes from rowing the boat to just putting gas in the engine and letting it run?
Well, first,
Well, that's what he's telling them in the meeting.
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh, these dudes that talk about roll the boat, but listen here, we're coming straight full on like submarine on these dudes."
I mean, it's
Do you
Don't
have
be
a,
fooled
and-
by
and-
do you
it.
have a
they're
yacht
bringing
yet,
extra-
or are we still with the canoe?
and they're bringing 4 players.
Yeah, there's a couple teams with 4 players.
They're bringing 4 players. Of course, Tanner Morgan will be there.
for like the 12th year in a row.
Yeah, like he was there. He was there before they had Big Ten Media Days.
Tanner Morgan was there for Nebraska's first Big Ten Media Days.
It's that thing, right? With Coach Loxley,
He'd be interesting because dive into what it takes to be a head coach at Maryland, what he's viewing as a success and what he's viewing as like improvement year in and year out. His answers, if you try to compare his answers to, say, even if you want to go to stream like Ryan Day is probably very, very little things. Like, we got to get better at these things in order to bring our third down defense down 5%, which intel by their intel or whatever they've done, it will might take them to, be a better contender to win the national championship. Versus Maryland, a lot of it could be wins and losses, but it's more or less maybe is a retention of the athletes that they're getting, because they got a couple linebackers a couple of years ago and then a couple guys left, and you got keeping coaches around and stuff like that. I mean, his idea, how he's running a program, and when he's pulling up, even though obviously he's paid pretty well, but as he's pulling up to his coach's slot is a lot different than here at Nebraska, or Wisconsin, Iowa. It's just different because of the program. So his answers, if you ask him versus, say, Jim Harbaugh, it's totally different, even though it's the same question and they have the same job. The expectations and what they're viewing as success or not success is totally different.
So, I mean, speaking of Maryland, so Tango Vailoa shows up, and to me, I'm curious to ask him where he thinks he belongs in the Big Ten quarterback
rankings.
Like, where does he put himself?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'll be humble, but I'm sure he'll be probably thinking he's the best. Well, I mean, if you're not thinking that you're the best, then you shouldn't be playing any sport. That's the way it is. I mean, if you think you're second nature, if you think you're second hand, then that's what you're going to get treated as. You don't ever let anybody disrespect you.
Well, that's why
indirectly or directly.
That's why I'm excited about this, because of the quarterbacks that are coming, and there's a ton of quarterbacks coming. CJ Stroud will be there, so you'll get to see that face. For you, when you sit across from these quarterbacks, what are you looking for? Is there something in the eye you listed?
Fear.
Like, what are you looking for?
Those days are over. Probably just how they handle themselves, how they move. For the short time that I'll be there, I'll just I'm really interested to watch how people move. That tells you a lot.
That's the best part of media days, is
How
seeing how people walk in.
Yeah, well, not even that, just how they move, how they operate. Are you a phony? Are you a fake? Are you for real? Are you just there and think? I mean, it's there's a lot of posers out here.
Well,
there's a lot of posers in sports.
Mm-hmm.
People are posing as players, or all they're going. But guys that are really in it, you could just tell who's in it. Guys that really believe in what they're doing, guys are just saying it. Like, you can just. I don't know, and it's no different than when you see players that you played against or played with. If that guy was down for the cause or not. Mm-hmm. Now, he might be able to get in front of a microphone and everybody loves it because he's giving quotes. He's always available. You know what I mean? He's telling you everything that you need to hear after a game or whatever, or what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? All that does a lot of chirping, but inside those locker rooms, that dude, it's not.
You're a good talker,
right? And that's no different. It's just they're just people, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just operating in a profession, highly paid, with high expectations, and very, very visible. That's not changing who they are.
I just love watching when you see the linemen from different schools or linebackers walk up. First of all, what they're wearing, I pay attention to, especially at media days, because it's like, are you comfortable, bro? Like, you okay? and then there's the look on the face. And you know how there's some guys that right before the season starts, they're real fleshy.
Yeah.
And you look at me and go, wait a minute, you're a little big dude. Like you're a little big dude. You're a big guy that's trying to put on weight.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you can see stuff like that, and depends. I mean, some schools come as if you were just a regular day walking around. Some. I mean, I think schools can provide at least one suit now. I think, right? I think they can. I don't want to speak for it, but I'm assuming so. Or you give them like a team issue golf shirt and stuff like that, so at least comfortable. And then, look, man, the way you look before the season, after 2 weeks, you're definitely, trimmed down. You're going 2 practices a day. You're locked in before school. Nobody's really going to class and stuff like that. So, generally, everybody's going to have the same message. I'm assuming everybody's thinking that they can go undefeated, and their goal is to win every game. If somebody gets up there and says, man, we're trying to go 6-6, 7-5, you're probably going to end up being 2-10, and it's not going to work out. So, look, everybody knows that there's expectations, but then obstacles in front of them for being successful, which is obviously the other teams, and maybe there's injuries or just a little bit of holes on your rosters. But also, I think going into a season, every coach is going to say, okay, they're looking at the warts, but they know that they have enough, clear skin that they can figure it out and minimize their weaknesses. So, we'll see what, it's going to be interesting to see maybe like what schools are kind of coach the guys out what to say. That's always weird to me.
Especially when they come to a strange table, like they come to a different table.
No, it's like, now granted, you don't want anybody to go out there and give anybody some bulletin board material or whatever like that. But if you feel comfortable enough for them to represent your team, let them represent.
I'm going to ask you at 9:00 of the 3 Husker players who are going, who you're most excited to hear from.
Yeah, I don't even know who's going.
Yeah, well, we'll dive into that pool at 9:00 with Word to Break here. Let Rico set the tone for the week with his Monday What's Up.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Indianapolis, the crossroads of America.
Tune in this Tuesday and Wednesday live from Indy as we bring you coverage of Big Ten Media Days from Lucas Oil Stadium. DP, Strick, Rashawn, Jay, and Jake will be out there with all the information, all the interviews, and all the sights and sounds to get you ready for the college football season. It's Big Ten Media Days live on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days is sponsored by Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group with BHHS Ambassador and Gary Michaels Clothiers.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
In today's day and age, people are trying to do more and more projects by themselves. That might be better on the wallet, but it can also lead to painful sounds like this. Ow! Poor guy, trying to do wiring all by himself. Let's have another listen. It's just not worth it. Don't hurt yourself or make things worse than they are already. For any of your electric needs, call Joe at Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
Hello, everybody. Charlie Stone here. And through the years, as I've gotten to know Andy Goodyear, general manager of Honda of Lincoln, quite well, one of the things that I have really liked about Andy is you will always get honest, straight talk from him. Joining me now, Andy Goodyear. What's the latest news at Honda of Lincoln?
As I've said before, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you may not see the new vehicle you're looking for, but on the way, we have more than 300 new cars to choose from, so don't hesitate to stop in or go shop online.
I know that used cars are big right now. What can you tell us about it?
We have a great selection, Charlie. More than 125 to choose from. And what I want people to know is we sell more than just Hondas.
All makes and models, right?
All makes and models, cars, SUVs, truck, with fresh trades arriving daily. If you're looking for something other than a Honda, we just might have it.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back.
We apologize that they don't get to hear the.
I just have to keep my fingers right next to the button. I just wait.
Go.
It's all good. I'm like, oh, no, can't do it. No, what? Oh, no, not yet.
All right, Monday. Get the Monday started correctly, Rico.
All right, time for the best segment in radio history. Here we go.
Woke up this morning and I got out of bed. Had a big old cup of coffee to clear my head. Telephone rang and you wanna chat? Well, sit on down and tell me what up with that. Ooh-wee.
Horns. Give it to me, Rico. Work and move.
Ooh-wee. What up with that? What up with that? He said, she said, we said, me said, what up with that?
Finger point.
Who knew you knew
Finish strong, Rico. I'm thrilled because we're going to take that to Big Ten. So you imagine Radio Row at Big Ten.
You should take. I don't know if you're taking any speakers, but you should take a speaker and just crank it.
You can't.
I know.
You talking about not getting asked back?
Yeah. That'll
Just like,
get
all
us,
right, everybody, here we go.
yeah, that'll get us removed. Although, so of all the Big Ten coaches, who would dance to that?
Oh,
Who would dance to that?
oh.
Loxley would dance.
Loxley would dance.
Loxley would dance. Pat Fitzgerald, I
That
gotta
would,
feel,
Pat Fitzgerald and Mel Tucker, I feel like would try not to dance. But
Brown
they
would
just
dance.
they would just kind of like move their shoulders.
Oh,
a little
James Franklin would dance.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
James Franklin would come running over just to do it. Like he'd do the full dance.
Kirk Ferentz would just smile and be like, "Okay,
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
What's going on?
Yeah.
Here? What's going on here, guys?
what's happening?" But okay, you seem like you're having fun.
What's up,
Yeah.
Rico? Now I'm stuck on that. I'm stuck on that all the way.
The track and field world championships concluded last night.
Yes, sir.
There were, during the entire contest, there were 3 world records broken.
Mhm.
One of them broken twice in the same day, and that would be the 100-meter women's hurdles,
Mhm.
with the I believe the Nigerian hurdler winning that one. Hold on, I want to make sure I get this right because I want to give her props. Toby Amusan broke the world record in the semis and then in the finals. In her semis, everybody had a personal best except for one person. That one person was the previous world record holder.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
And then she dropped the world record even farther in the finals, and she went 12:06 to win Nigeria's first medal at the World Championships.
Wow. I rather enjoyed it. I had it on for a couple hours. And
A bunch of national records fell. The world record in the pole vault was broken by Mondo Duplantis.
I'm glad you said that because I would have screwed that up.
Of Sweden. I mean, his name is Armand, but everybody calls him Mondo. Mondo Duplantis. He pole vaulted at Kansas also. People know him that way. But yeah, world record. He went from like 606 meters where he won 6.06 and then just went straight up to the world record at 6.21 meters. Cleared it pretty easily.
Those are exceptional athletes, man. My back hurts just watching them bend that way.
Yeah.
The
There's extreme flexibility when they do
Yeah.
pole vault.
The men's 4x1 got second to Canada. Messed up their handoffs. Very sad. But, I mean, it's better than the last 2 times they were in the 4x1 where they didn't finish because they dropped the baton. So silver
So
is
they're making progress.
Yeah, silvers are good. The 4x4 was beautiful. But the women kind of stole the show for the entire World Championships. Sydney McLaughlin, the Kentucky former Kentucky Wildcat,
she's different.
Set the world record in the 400 hurdles by 0.79 seconds. Broke her own world record for like the 4th time. And then she was the anchor leg on the 4x4. And are you ready for this? Her split for the 4x4, 47 seconds.
They're gonna have to create some new testing.
47.
They're gonna
I know so many men who watch that and were just like
tester.
I can't do that.
Tester.
Well, how is she so fast?
Tester.
And she didn't even look tired. She cruised to 47
Like
seconds.
she was sitting there after the race just chilling. It was like not even breathing hard. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Not even a problem.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When it changes that way, we've been taught.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention. This is a monumental shift in time.
It was beautiful.
And yeah,
it was the most watched version on U.S. soil of the World Championships. They're trying to create a shift in the thinking of track and field before the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. I think they're doing a great job.
Let me ask you both, and we'll start with Jay. Do you want to see what the human body is capable of, or do you need it to be natural? Like,
Oh yeah, I'd rather see it natural. You mean steroid induced or whatever?
yeah. Like, do you want to see what the human body is capable of? Like they talked about like Maguire Sosa And I was like, no, I wanted to see
That was fun.
like what we're capable of. Now you can get back to the natural game, but there's a part of me that wants to see like how many home runs, like the Bonds thing. I wasn't offended by it. I was like,
well, yeah, everybody was doing it. I mean, you're almost a fool if you aren't.
right. So I mean, but do you want to know if we could hit 80 home runs in a season? Like, do you want to know that at all?
Like, could you imagine if Aaron Judge took steroids? Like, just how naturally big he is.
That's kind of what the curiosity is for me.
How far could he?
Not really. Not. I mean, I've already seen it once with Bonds. Track and field, we've seen it with Ben Johnson. With other guys, and gals. Football, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
But I like to see. I want to see some true like back and forth competition. One guy win it, one gal win it, somebody else wins it, then build up to 2028.
I came up during the rivalry where sprinters. It wasn't Jamaica. It was Russia.
Yeah.
Valery Bortzoff was the world's fastest human, and we sent Harvey Glance and Steve Williams over there to try to run him down. There were rivalries.
Yeah.
Well, if you pay attention to the 800 meters on the women's side, Athing Mu and Keely Hodgkinson, they're both under 21, under 22, and they were 1-2 at the Olympics and 1-2 at the World Championships. And Keely got a lot closer, 156.30 for Athing, 156.38 for Keely. That's going to be a rivalry. And look, the 800 is a fun race to watch.
We've missed a lot of it, but again, in that interval between championships and Olympics, it should be hyped up. The problem is that if the U.S. mindset is if it's not an American at the top of it, we tend to lose interest in it, and we have to be careful about that. We'll throw the break. We'll come back top of the hour. We'll go up and down the list of players and coaches who are going to be at Big Ten Media. Get Jay's take on some of them because, we're going to sit Jay Foreman down with him and let him have his way. We'll do that next 9 o'clock. Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
2022 is all about staying well. And guess what? There are lots of easy ways to take care of your mental and physical health every day, like eating right and exercising, taking vitamins, drinking water, scheduling those annual doctor's visits, or just resting. That's right, even a quick nap counts. Because let's be honest, these days we could all use a little more wellness in our lives. So stay well, Nebraska. For more ways you can stay healthy, visit StayWellNebraska.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that, options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
Hey, batter, 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 wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street in Meridian Park and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village. Or place your order online at wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com, Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Allo, we think you deserve the fiber things in life, like binging your favorite TV shows and movies buffer-free, next level, lag-free gaming, and video calls without frozen faces. So say goodbye to lag and buffering and hello to super fast fiber internet with dedicated 24/7 support for total peace of mind. Plus, no hidden fees, no expiration dates, and no contracts, ever. From dependable service to exceptional support, experience the fiber things with Allo. Go to allofiber.com/fiberthings and switch today.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Your Lincoln forecast today, showers and storms likely throughout the day. Much cooler today, too. We'll see a high of around 70. Tonight, another chance of showers and storms with a low of around 63. And tomorrow, another chance of showers and storms throughout the day. Otherwise, staying mostly cloudy with a high of around 83. I'm meteorologist Kyle Kleckner for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs is starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. This is Old School. Brought to you by Sandhills Global. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Old School on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. DPJ Foreman joining you, taking you on a journey. 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Sutter Heyman text line. Old School brought to you by Sandhills Global. Sandhills Global has hundreds of job opportunities available and internships. Their global headquarters right here in Lincoln. Head to sandhills.jobs today and apply. I know that it sounds like, oh, I don't want to work. No, there's hundreds of job opportunities available. There's something for everybody. Sandhills.jobs. Go and apply today. There's internships as well.
They got you hooked up. They got you hooked up.
Anything and everything.
Right? If you want to work this, have at it. Have at it. We can get that stuff. So, well done. Let's get into it. We travel through. First of all, we this is the first time. So it's me, Vashon, Jay, and Strick, and we're on the same flight, which leads to chaos.
Sounds fun.
Which leads to chaos.
I think Vashon said he doesn't like flying.
I know he doesn't like flying. I was surprised that because I'm like, you could have just drove. I mean, you could have if you wanted to do that. But we want him there. We want him to broadcast that. Like, he needs to be a part of this. Strick's super excited. Like, he's like, "What are we wearing? What are we?" I'm like, "It's casual dress. Like, wear the ticket."
Took a picture of 2 of his jerseys, talking about Big Ten Media Day.
Yeah, like, you ain't walking in with your jersey.
His Bucks jersey and his Pacers jersey.
Yeah, like, he walking in. It's his spot, right? I'm like,
what are you doing?
I'm like, no, I'm like, get it, grab one of the ticket pullovers that we just got everybody, and we can take care of that. So, Jay gonna have to be like Papa Bear to calm things down. Who amongst this thing, right? The players will come through. There's certain players, I guess day one, usually the way it works, Michigan closes out day one and the Buckeyes close out day 2, right? So they build up to it and go through it. Your thoughts on Greg Schiano, Jay Foreman?
I mean, he's a good coach, well respected. Again, he's like Loxley of Maryland. The Rutgers isn't a powerhouse, but I think he set the tone for when he came back. He wanted the support from the alumni for new facilities and have plans, concrete plans in place for that. And he wanted a little bit bigger of a spending pool to hire coaches. And he's already shown that he can take a team like Rutgers and be, well respected, and I wouldn't say a national championship contender, but definitely a player in, against tougher competition. The one thing I'll tell you about him, like, last year with COVID, I think the COVID restrictions probably were a little bit more. I think they were a little bit more taxing out there on the East Coast than maybe where we were. And it hit their team pretty hard, just like everybody else's team. So, but they were working at a little bit of disadvantage. Never was a game. I don't think they were, ill prepared, and so you got to give him a lot of credit to where he found ways during, times of adversity to find something positive. I mean, they took that game to go down to the bowl game and went down and more than represented themselves well. And when you're at Rutgers, you have to be willing and able to do those type of things. You're not. I think they were 5-7, so they weren't 7-5. So, but when you get a chance to play an extra game and technically get the kids and the seniors to a bowl game, no matter what it looks like, you got to get it done. And they went down there and did some stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what he's viewing, or if he's really excited about having a true off season, what he can do with Rutgers, what he's really thinking that he can build upon, what he's looking to improve upon, and things that he saw last year that maybe he couldn't get to that he's able to get to this year, because it's totally different for him. And then this is actually kind of like his first year to really get in and dive into it, and see how fast he can, get to 6-6 and 7-5.
Let's talk about Tom Allen, Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, I'm probably most excited to see him in the flesh. I've interviewed him, I don't know, seems 10 times at least, maybe even more than that on Big Ten. He's a guy that you can tell why Indiana was really good that one year and up and coming the year before. Kind of like Pat Fitzgerald. He can will Rico to run through that wall right there in a matter of 5 minutes. So it's going to be interesting to talk to him about some stuff that I talked to him about previously that was probably a positive or really good for him. Now he's kind of starting over. Quarterback's gone, Penix is gone. Who's going to be the quarterback? I think he lost his offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator 2 years in a row. He's had to try to hit the transfer portal a lot. You lost the NFL receiver. They lost a really good linebacker, McFadden. How he's, and he's a defensive guy, so you kind of will be able to kind of chop it up on a defensive mindset. So he's probably the most excited to talk to, because he's a guy's guy. I mean, he's a down to earth head football coach.
He's bringing in A.J. Barner, tight end, Cam Jones, and Taiwan Mullen, cornerback.
Well, that's telling you that if they're
No quarterback in
yeah.
the building, no running back.
Well, it's no different than Nebraska. It's
Right.
you lose a guy that was very, very popular, stalwart in your program, to transfer. You don't have those guys like Adrian and Penix. Those guys don't come like they don't. It's not every class you get those guys.
I was slightly intrigued by Nebraska's choices. Garrett Nelson, Quentin Newsome, Travis Vokolek. Because the story outside of Nebraska is Casey Thompson. Period. Like everybody else, everybody else wants to know about Casey Thompson. That's not the case here. Running backs, receivers, Trey Palmer, none of that. Quentin Newsome, you said off break that of the three guys, the guy you want to hear the most from is Quentin Newsome. Why?
Well, Garrett has been. I wouldn't say he's been around, but you know, I know Garrett. I've worked with Garrett, so
Yeah.
I know Garrett pretty well. Know what he's made of, and I know. Obviously, you saw in the spring game, he's kind of added a little bit of, little juice to his game.
Mm-hmm.
Newsome is different. I think he's a guy that you got a tremendous amount of respect for, grown to appreciate. A few times I've seen him in the offseason, he's just more mature. He's had to, whether he likes it or not, take on a leadership role in that room because you lose 3 starters, 4 if you count JoJo, out of the 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's the elder statesman, both by experience and just by longevity here. But then his story of, he was I think he was the only one that was out of the starters that didn't have a black shirt for about the first month of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a few other guys that might have been thinking they should have gotten one. But look, you're a starter. You figure you should get it. I've been in that position before, even though I had a black shirt, but I wasn't on the defensive poster. So, that's kind of was your validation. So, there's 2 ways that he could have took it. He could have went in the dumpster and blamed everybody. I hate it here. I could transfer and all that other stuff. And, he probably he can answer that himself. It maybe crossed his mind, and, was it fair or right? Maybe not. But he took us. Then I remember telling you can take it the other way. You can go and show and prove, and by your play, validate all your feelings right now. And that's what he's done. And then he continued to get better. I think his confidence grew. The confidence from the coaches grew, and he started to make some plays. Now there's still improvement, right? It's probably the little things, and I'm assuming that's what he's probably gotten better at in the offseason. I think athletically, he's going to work hard. He's a tough kid, competitor, and I just think probably just the little things you need, wanted to get better at. But I think maybe that's where the confidence come from, and that's where the coaches got him going. So, and then Vokolek is, he's got a lot on his plate. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to be productive. And he has to be a leader. He has to be lock in step with Casey because the offensive line doesn't have a guy. You don't have Cam Jurgens, coming back. Teddy's hurt. Turner's hurt, or not hurt, but they're coming back. Whereas Vokolek's there. He's a big old strong kid. I think his dad's a coach or wanted something on the. Helping out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And still a ton of competition, open competition at running backs. Quarterback as well, and he's been here, so I'd assume that it's no surprise, and it's good for him too. It's good for him to kind of be that guy this year for him. I think he did a really good job last year. He can pick him up and put him down. And he's got better hands than people give him credit for. Obviously, Austin Allen had a phenomenal year. But I think Vokolek could do his thing again this year.
As we head into Big Ten media and the questions, again, this is a spot where everybody gets to ask their question if they have them. I was in a conversation this weekend, and it was that the most important player on the Nebraska roster is Casey Thompson.
It always is. It's the quarterback.
It's the quarterback. It's the guy who touches the ball the most. But then I was asked the question, that Teddy Prochazka is the second most important person on the Nebraska offense.
Second most important, whoever the running back is.
They said
And-
third. That's where the third was.
Well, the second, in theory, is the offensive line.
I would
The
say- I would
offensive
say
line.
Hickson.
The offensive line is number one.
Mhm.
Quarterback number two. Running back three. Because nothing happens if that line don't get better. Nothing. I don't care who you can bring in. Mike Martz at his maximum when he was with the Rams. You can bring up Don Coryell. You can get Joe Gibbs. You can get Josh McDaniels. You could get what's the dude? Sean McVay, Shanahan's kid. You can bring in back the older Shanahan. You can try to get the way too real Denver Broncos running. That shout out to my boy. He used to call the Denver Broncos way too real Denver Broncos, based off the Too Short song talking
Right.
about we way too real.
Right.
You can have whoever you want. The line's got to play, and they got to play to the sense. Now, granted, like if you're saying they need to go from last year group production to the pipeline, that's not realistic. But it's more than realistic for them to be consistent and not be a negative or a reason why you lost the game. And I think they're going to do it. I think they have the right coach for it with the right mentality. I think the simplicity will help them, and I think the challenge will help them. And I think, if there's ever a positive out of having a few injuries in the spring, is that you're getting depth and reps just by circumstances. That's only going to make you better.
Then you just made the point, and I'll have to ask it. Who's the most important coach on the offensive side of the ball?
I don't know, because I don't know the coaching dynamics. I haven't been down there last year. I could probably answer it, but this year I can't.
Because if the line is the most important priority and focus, then Raiola's existence, success, efficiency.
But it's not all on him. That's why
Right.
that's why cohesiveness in a coaching staff is great, right? Cohesiveness in a athletic department is great. Cohesiveness from, I guess, the very top. So I don't know, would that be the president? I have no idea. Was it the chancellor? I don't know. Well, top to bottom, that's why everything trickles down. And then what you see, the product of that is what you see on a Saturday. You get what I'm saying? So the cohesiveness from a linebacker room to the captain in the linebacker room to, say, the sub-captain in the linebacker room to the people that are being led, all starts there and boils and then trickles up to and goes lock and step with the defensive line in the secondary to Shenander's lap, all led by said coaches, and then take the coaching staffs and they do the same. Then on top of that, you could have cohesiveness in the offense and defense, right? Moving like a well-oiled machine. Well, then here comes the special teams that got to be able to be cohesive with the offense and the defense. And then you get it all mixed. That's what it comes down to. So, I think the offensive line will make it go. I think the experience of Whipple will help that, right? Because he's, it's not like Pittsburgh's offensive line was like the Hogs or something,
Right.
So I think his experience with that and experience in the NFL, and all his vast experience to go along with Mickey's experience. Obviously, Raiola's experience being with Chicago Bears. So I think with that, I think the cohesiveness between those two is top to bottom is what's going to help. But, the play of the offensive line is going to be the hugest thing. And I think it's good for them because they're going to, ideally they should be like ideally a coaching staff would want the offensive line to beat the defensive line where it's going back and forth because they're both be getting better.
You put Hogs together with Pitt, and immediately you got to remember that's where the Hogs were built. Mark May and Russ Grimm were both
And if we're
both
so
played at Pitt, that's how when you mentioned Joe Gibbs attacking and trying to get his organization better, he started with the offensive line. People get fooled by the quarterback. Remember, the line was consistent, the quarterbacks were not.
Well,
He used three different
people don't
quarterbacks.
understand when the Patriots were winning the Super Bowls, or they're Super Bowls. They did. Their offensive line and the Dante Scalaria was one of the best in the NFL. They just didn't have the guys that you would think that they were just getting guys that worked well together.
Mm-hmm.
And they always had a really good center, and they always had a pretty good tackle, and then they just worked with whatever group they had and curtailed their offense around that. really good pass protection offensive line, guys that could get out in space and move. We hit Wes Welker, and we go over top of Randy Moss, and then we went to a little bit of, they tried to go 2 tight ends with Gronk, and I won't even mention the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then, we aren't explosive on the outside. Julian Edelman is getting a little old. Okay, so then we're just going to line up with Trent Brown, who's like 380 pounds, and we're just going to mow you.
Thump. We're going to thump you. That's what it is. We'll toward the break. We'll come back. I want to ask Jay about Mo Tucker and what's happening in Michigan State.
I'm going to ask him if he's the Mad Lion.
We're going to talk about that when we come back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Indianapolis, the crossroads of America.
Tune in this Tuesday and Wednesday live from Indy as we bring you coverage of Big Ten Media Days from Lucas Oil Stadium. DP, Strick, Rashawn, Jay, and Jake will be out there with all the information, all the interviews, and all the sights and sounds to get you ready for the college football season. It's Big Ten Media Days live on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days is sponsored by Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group with BHHS Ambassador and Gary Michaels Clothiers.
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
2022 is all about staying well. And guess what? There are lots of easy ways to take care of your mental and physical health every day, like eating right and exercising, taking vitamins, drinking water, scheduling those annual doctor's visits, or just resting. That's right, even a quick nap counts. Because let's be honest, these days we could all use a little more wellness in our lives. So stay well, Nebraska. For more ways you can stay healthy, visit staywellnebraska.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I could actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at freedmanlaw.com today.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs is starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future.
future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Pumps in a back, pumps in a back. We like the girls with the pumps in a back, pumps in a back, pumps in a back. We like the girls with the pumps in a back, pumps in a back, pumps in a back. We like the girls with the pumps in a back, pumps in a back.
Get it. Get it.
You can turn it up.
Come on, Jay.
What up?
Come on.
Dude, we got like 30 minutes, dude. We got stuff to do.
This guy. Look back though.
We're gonna put him in. We're gonna put him in the room, and I'm thrilled about it. I'm thrilled about Jay Foreman being in that room.
They'll be in and out. They'll be in and out. Guys like Mel Tucker are always interesting to me, though.
Well, that's top of the list. So
I want to see you and Mel Tucker listen to this song.
Yeah, Mel Tucker don't have that in him. If you know Mel,
Hey, no.
Loxley does.
Loxley, Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker's all. I mean,
All
Mel
business?
Tucker is all football.
Is it wrong if I say I like Mel Tucker?
No, I like Mel Tucker too.
Okay.
No, I like Mel Tucker.
I also think it's funny when he left Colorado for the Michigan State job for like 2 months on like Colorado TV and like Pac-12 TV.
Yeah.
It still had like, I'm Mel Tucker, the head coach of the Colorado Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
Who? So Jay, give us some insight. Who is Mel Tucker?
Yeah, he's a football guy. He's a tough, minded dude. He's kind of worked his way up and built programs up. He believes in what he's doing. He's had some pretty high profile jobs, being Saban brought him in. That's where most recently, then he goes and he's the D coordinator at Georgia. He's also a pro coach at Jacksonville. And then obviously he got a head coaching job at Colorado for, I think, a couple years. And then Michigan State, kind of like on a whim, the hire was a little late because the previous coach kind of retired. It seemed like abruptly. And, for as of right now, he's came in and, had the magic potion to turn it around. It's going to be interesting to see. It's not really necessarily about wins and losses because it's going to be hard for Michigan State to play at that clip year in and year out. I think whether he says it or not, but it timed out and worked out perfect for him. The transfer portal, the ability to get a whole bunch of transfers, and I think it was the first year you could, so he kind of really built his roster off the transfer portal. And you get Walker the third, and you get the best running back or one of the best running backs in the nation to coincide with guys they got on defense. I think all the stars lined up for him to have that season. But I think what he started with from a culture standpoint put him at an advantage, and then I think he took it to a whole nother level from his experience as a head coach at Colorado, and then his experience with both Kirby Smart and Nick Saban. So he's just interesting. Just I remember I talked to Bobby Carpenter sometimes, and he was at Ohio State when Bobby was there, and he'd always get mad at Freeman, who's the coach at Notre Dame. Not mad at him, but he's like, man, you pretty much, if you don't get this cover 2 drop right, I'm going to be back driving was it Schwann's truck selling food. So he was a grinder. That let me know that he's been to where he's coaching for his his livelihood, and I think that's probably something he never forgot. I know one of my best friends or close friends, Tavares Tillman, was a defensive back coach for them last year. So I talked to him. Now he's down at Georgia Tech, where he went to school, but just would talk to him about Mel Tucker, how Mel Tucker gave him his chance, how Mel Tucker helped him become a better coach, challenged him to be a better coach, and taught him or gave him insight on how to move on and to bigger and better roles. And so look, it's no coach. I think the biggest thrill for a coach is if he has an assistant coach or you have a good enough season, he's wanted by other schools. So I think eventually that'll happen with Nebraska and stuff like that. I think they got especially with like Shenander, I think defense keeps him improving and Nebraska gets some wins. There's going to be people knocking at his door. So it just doesn't start and stop with Michigan States and Ohio State. I think it's everywhere. And so first and foremost, the most important thing is have a winning season. Michigan State did that. You saw a little bit of that, people trying to get in and get their coaches. But I think Mel Tucker understands the dynamics of where he's at. The big contract puts a lot of pressure on you. People are always going to question you when you're the first one to do it. Michigan State wasn't or hasn't been known as a school that's going to be paying upwards close to $10 million for a coach. So then that's a lot of pressure there. You're going to have a lot of naysayers, not only for you coaching at Michigan State. You're the first one to get a big contract. And then the other dynamics of Mel Tucker, as a person, that goes into it as well. What he looks like, how he, all that stuff. People were like looking at him like, dumbing down what he's done and what he's been able to do, whether they want to admit it or not. That's just factual. Now, everybody needs to be happy that Mel Tucker got that contract, because that allowed Brian Kelly to go down there, leave a recruiting visit when he was wearing Notre Dame swag, get on his private jet, and head down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And then in that time, he has a Louisiana accent in a $100 million contract. It allowed Lincoln Riley to say that he's not taking a job, said job, that LSU job, but he magically in 6 hours came to terms with it and just had a long, hard conversation with his family in 6 hours after he just got done playing in a Big 12 championship that ended at night. So all through the night, got on a jet with Oklahoma Jordan 1 lows on, put that USC polo on, and got another $100 million contract. And I'm sure there's other coaches that have reaped the benefits off it as well. So it'd be interesting to see. The biggest thing I want to ask him about is when they were in their bowl game and because they were losing, and how he operates and how he's able to get his team to operate in those situations. And the quote is, "I wanted to see how you swim in deep water." That's a deep quote right there, because what it tells you is, we don't think you that tough. We don't really think that you're ready to do what we're willing to do. But to have that type of mindset in extreme pressure, you get what I'm saying? And then to come out with the victory, like, how did you build that? Like, what? Tell me exactly what that means, because it just doesn't mean we're out there and we're swimming. When you're in deep water, you either win or you lose, survive or die. You get what I'm saying?
Well, some people become splashers. They try to they panic a little bit. Right. Don't understand that. Hey, look,
was it your fundamentals that you built on, or is it a game plan that you thought of, or something that you saw, or that you were able to pick up on in your film study? That when you're down by 10 to 14 points and you look like your offense look like it can't even get out of its own way, that somehow you can find a way to keep the defense interested and motivated to keep the game close until the offense and the offensive coordinator, the player, the staff get out of their own way and start scoring some points.
This was the phrase: chaos. Expect chaos, but when chaos happens, slow down, and chaos ceases to exist. There's simplicity in it. That's deep water, taking them in deep water. We'll throw the break when we come back. Ask Jay about these two coaches out west. Paul Chryst, James Franklin. Let's get into it when we come back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Gus Cottle. The Nebraska State Legion baseball tournament is in full swing. Over the weekend in the American Division at Don Roddy Field in Bellevue, Carpet Lane defeated Bellevue West 4-3. Elkhorn North defeated Grand Island 11-1. Millard South defeated Gretna 12-5. And Fremont defeated Bellevue East 12-2. After this weekend's results, Grand Island and Bellevue East have both been eliminated from the tournament. In the National Division at Den Hartog Field in Lincoln, Millard West defeated Pinnacle Bank 6-3. Hastings defeated Elkhorn South 7-4. Judd's Brothers defeated Columbus 5-2. And Creighton Prep defeated Millard North 11-6. Millard North and Pinnacle Bank have both been eliminated, and the final will take place between the winners of the National and American Division. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Hey, batter, batter, batter. Wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street in Meridian Park and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village. Or place your order online at wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
At Allo, we think you deserve the fiber things in life, like binging your favorite TV shows and movies buffer-free, next level, lag-free gaming, and video calls without frozen faces. So say goodbye to lag and buffering and hello to super fast fiber internet with dedicated 24/7 support for total peace of mind. Plus, no hidden fees, no expiration dates, and no contracts, ever. From dependable service to exceptional support, experience the fiber things with Allo. Go to allofiber.com/fiberthings and switch today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. A merry Monday.
Yes, sir.
Here in beautiful Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yes, sir. It's raining in Indy, so
You get some cool weather. There you go.
we'll be indoors. The only time we're really going to deal with the rain is walking from the hotel to the stadium. So we're all right. It'll be.
You know, you're gonna run the players through some drills like you did last year.
Yeah, Jay, we had some tackling drills that, like I was asking them, what their philosophy was.
Did it correlate to the field?
Yeah, no. Well, it showed up.
Yes,
it showed up.
Yes,
let's say it showed up.
Are you gonna run if you get some of the quarterbacks from the other teams? You're gonna
the other quarterbacks. I want to pick their brains.
Yeah,
like Jay, I want to ask them. Hey, in this situation, down distance, you walk up that line of scrimmage. What are you looking for? And we can talk about Franklin and Christ in the last segment, but I can't ask Jay this because there's a thing I noticed. Okay, so Jay, Ohio State, bringing a quarterback. Wisconsin, bringing a quarterback.
Who are they bringing?
Penn State, Sean Clifford, coming, quarterback. Michigan State, Peyton Thorne.
Okay.
Coming.
I know all of those guys.
Okay, here we go. We'll keep it moving. Maryland.
Taulia.
Bringing a quarterback. Minnesota.
Tanner Morgan.
bringing the quarterback.
Yeah.
Purdue?
Purdue is not.
They're not bringing the supposed
Oh, yeah.
Big Ten.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're bringing it. They're bringing O'Connell.
Okay. O'Connell.
Yeah.
He's
Aiden
supposed
O'Connell.
to be, yeah.
Jay, what does that say? Like, to me, there's a comfort in having your quarterback in a position of authority and comfort.
Yeah. I mean, those guys are all played there before, so it's the dynamics are just different. I don't think that's anything.
I feel like it's quarterback battles in all the other schools. in those
Yeah, I mean, just
situations.
because here, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, just
right.
I mean, that's.
But-
I'm sure. I mean, there's going to be one of those guys that'll be there. That's not going to finish the season as a starter. But at the end,
Who? Just quote New Day. Who?
Who's all bringing them?
Yeah, let me see. So,
Oh,
what was it?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I would say Graham Mertz.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Is Mertz the one?
That's kind of That's
Who's Iowa bringing?
They're not bringing them
I was bringing linebacker, tight end, defensive back.
because they got two that they're cycling through
exactly.
still.
So
trying to
Graham
figure out.
Mertz is the guy that longevity's been there, and he had his first game, which is obviously he hasn't played consistent since. But don't think that if Wisconsin's defense reloads, and then with their running back, and they got some little bit more explosiveness on the outside, and considering that Ferguson has gone as a tight end, and Mertz isn't playing well, don't think that he isn't. They won't put somebody else in there. So
I'm going to say Peyton Thorne, Michigan State.
Oh no, he's fine. No, he's fine.
I wouldn't say he's completely.
I know the dude's behind him.
I know. I
I wouldn't say he's completely fine, but he's on better footing than
Wisconsin has a 5-star behind Graham Mertz.
But he's on better.
He needs to
footing
make
than
better
Mertz.
decisions.
Right.
Needs to do everything better.
Yeah, Mertz. Well, but Mertz was supposed to be that guy, and then
He was supposed
he just has not played well. And so, conversely, when you compare it to Nebraska, we lost a 4-year starter, so most likely you're not going to have the guy that's coming in or guys that are coming in because there's a true competition. Whether it's realistic or not, that's up to whoever goes out there and competes for the spot. So that's the difference why Nebraska I can't speak for Nebraska, but that's the difference just on the surface. Whereas like these guys are
established
starters, guys that probably went through the whole spring process as number one, where it's different in Nebraska.
Yeah, but it's going to be good. All right, we'll close it out with Jay's take on a couple of other quarterbacks from the West. We'll get that when we come back to Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Indianapolis, the crossroads of America.
Tune in this Tuesday and Wednesday live from Indy as we bring you coverage of Big Ten Media Days from Lucas Oil Stadium. DP, Strick, Rashawn, Jay, and Jake will be out there with all the information, all the interviews, and all the sights and sounds to get you ready for the college football season. It's Big Ten Media Days live on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days is sponsored by Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group with BHHS Ambassador and Gary Michaels Clothiers.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff at brokersinsurancene.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
The last four opponents in order: Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa. Do you agree with me that they will run the ball at you until you prove, all those teams will run it at you until you prove you can stop it?
Yes, because they keep doing that.
Right.
They have done that, and they will keep doing
And your edge rushers will be negated in terms of pass rush if you can't stop the run.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Don't make a knee-jerk reaction when replacing your air conditioner. Good or bad, the decision you make today will save or waste money for the next 15 to 20 years. Just call Bryant. They offer some of the most efficient air conditioners available, up to 26 SEER. Let Bryant's specialists meet your budget and comfort requirements with their good, better, and best options. Call 467-1111 or visit BryantLincoln.com to schedule your free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs is starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Is that the right? Is the chair bounce the appropriate?
100%. Just a head bob.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right.
Mr. Foreman.
Who hurt you, Jay Foreman?
Oh, no, I'll take care of something.
Yeah, Tim Drill was on fire. Come on. There's the beauty
We're gonna
of
get you to dance one day.
this.
No, you won't.
Wow, it's just so straight. Matter of fact,
this. I mean, the beauty of Big Ten Media Days. Again, this is the official kickoff to the season. This is the official kickoff, and I think being in this space, one, again, you get to see people in a different form up close. You get to take off the helmet and shoulder pads. You get to see them in their natural space, natural movement, natural voice. Right? It's a cool thing. We were talking about it. James Franklin may be one of those unicorns. He's a unique sort of coach in the Big Ten. From your vantage, Jay, who is James Franklin and what makes him him?
He's a unique personality. He's definitely, excitable. He definitely believes in. He's just kind of a different version. I think he was PJ Fleck a little bit. The way he came in and took over Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State kind of took off. It's kind of like a replay. But I think he's got learned through experience of being a head coach at a big time university. Some things work, some things don't. So he's a little bit farther down the road than say PJ Fleck as far as operating in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a coach that has no problem taking Penn State on a national level, on the brand level. Like, he's not worried about walking into Texas and recruiting for Penn State. So He has extreme amount of confidence. I think he's done a really good job out there. And also, I always look at a coach as, when he has coaches go other places. I think the Virginia Tech coach is one of his defensive coordinators. So he's able to nurture, build coaches, and then replenish as well. And so what that lets me know, he also has a black book and a reputation to where people want to be coached or coach with him, learn under him, and he can hire people, pretty quickly. Now, granted, being at Penn State, it's a little easier than, say, at Arkansas State. But at the end of the day, if you're not fun to work with, if you don't have a good reputation in the coaching, stratosphere, that a lot of people will wait around for another job. So, I think he's a guy that, quiet as kept with his personality. Penn State's under the radar this year, because you got to think it's Ohio State and everybody else. But then Michigan, just off of last year, is thinking they're right there with Ohio State. Then you got Wisconsin, and then you got Iowa, who's been there every year, and Northwestern, even though they weren't last year. So I just mentioned 4 other teams, but I hadn't mentioned Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State, again, when they pull up to any stadium, whether it's at home or away,
we are
north, south, east, west, their roster can play with anybody.
They believe that.
Well, but factual. They put guys at the next level. They develop guys. Now granted, they don't have Stroud. They don't have all these other quarterbacks, but within that, their stratosphere of being able to recruit, their rosters are pretty good.
They've got 9-year veteran Sean Clifford.
Yeah. So and then the
how much better would Penn State be with Will Levis?
We know I think that's unfair, because we know what we get with Clifford.
What you get with Clifford.
I mean, Will Levis was there.
Will Levis was there. He wasn't there. And let's be honest. I mean, Will Levis, the real Will Levis, is somewhere in between what you saw last year and what you're going to see this year. So
mayonnaise in your coffee.
Yeah. So So you lose credibility there.
Wow.
Right.
Bruh.
And maybe that's why he's not at Penn State anymore. You couldn't, James Franklin says, let's have some coffee. You brought
That's
in
too much.
mayonnaise.
He eats the banana sideways with the peel on.
He
puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
You're trying too hard to be different. If you're that different, it's going to be hard for you to be a quarterback.
Do we have a listener who puts mayo in their coffee?
If he does,
I don't think
she
so.
does.
I don't
think our listeners are mayo in the coffee kind of
402-464-5685. Do you or anybody put mayo in your coffee?
Or eat the banana sideways with the peel.
With the peel on. Just take
take
a bite of the
banana.
banana.
Either or. We talk about, Franklin's in his space. Paul Chryst in his space, right? That he is sound and solid in who he is and who Wisconsin is.
Right. He is, and he fits Wisconsin. Probably wears the same sweatshirt to practice, same one to the game, or has a practice and sweatshirt in the game. Hard nosed. Again, personality-wise, he's obviously not James Franklin, but you know what? He doesn't have to be. He doesn't try to be. He doesn't need to be. He needs a football coach. He can recruit. So it's not like he's so bland that he can't recruit. And also, so that lets me know he has a different personality outside of being interviewed. You know what I mean? Which, the coach speak buttoned up, whatever you want to call it. That's fine.
Right.
And then the university just wants him to be himself. And I think his pro experience has really helped him from an offensive standpoint. I think they've done a good job with Jim Leonhard coming back in and letting him kind of be the defensive head coach as a coordinator, let him do his thing, but it all goes together and they all work together, and they definitely believe it. They have Wisconsin ties, and so they know how important Wisconsin football is to, the people that, obviously support the program, the players, and know what it looks like. They know what they know what Wisconsin football has to look like to be successful, what it takes to be successful. And then they're just adding on like little outside, but they're not losing their identity. And so Paul Chryst is a perfect example of that.
We have a caller on the line. His name is Mike. He has a question for both of you about analysts. I just didn't know if we had time. We got time for it?
We have 2 minutes.
All right. Ask the question quick, Mike.
Okay. Hey, I was just wondering, and I know Alabama's Alabama, but if you look, they have like 12 analysts. In Nebraska, at least on the website, only lists a few. And the other thing about Alabama, being Alabama, they have former NFL coaches, college head coaches, things like that. Do you think it would behoove Nebraska to maybe get a few more analysts, a few high-level ones? One guy I'm thinking about in particular, and I don't know if, Jay, he was coming or he was leaving when you were coming, but Baron Miles. I think the guy's a heck of a coach. He's been coaching in the CFL, and I know that's Canada for, 12 years. You think we should try and up our game, and would a guy like Baron Miles help being an analyst? I have to think he can make more at Nebraska than he is coaching in the CFL. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, Jay, you got about a minute.
Having a guy like Baron Miles on the staff, would that help? Dang right it would. I don't know the dynamics of who they choose or who they look for as analysts or anything like that. That's I don't know if it's a Scott Frost question or a Trev Alberts question, but it's definitely. I know Bobby Carpenter and another guy that works for a huge network are definitely involved in the Ohio State program.
I think the answer is yes.
So I think
definitely be better, present company included. We'll just say that and close it out. Jay, I'll see you at 1 o'clock as we head to Indy. Rico, let's buckle up. Let's have some fun. One-on-one next here on 937 The Ticket.